Hello everyone, welcome to India4IAS. My name is Shreyas. So beginning from this video, I will be starting a PYQ series of ancient, medieval and art and culture from the year 2020 to 2025. So last 6 years PYQs na solve madkondre, we believe that it will help us attempting questions in the year 2026. So usually ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ aspirants modern history ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ancient medieval ಮೇಲೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. It makes sense also because modern history is more interesting. Ancient medieval ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. It is difficult to remember also. But if we see a broader perspective, UPSC mains ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ modern history ಇಂದ 1 to 2 questions ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Alternative years like 21, 23, 25 ಈ ತರ years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ancient medieval usually 3 to 4 questions ಕೂಡ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. So in brief, ancient and medieval cannot be neglected. So even in this video, I'll be discussing that ancient and medieval, it's not like 1 or 2 questions are appearing. If you see in there 2020, 21, ancient medieval art and culture together combined madre almost 8 to 10 questions bartide. Whereas if you see modern history in there 22, 23, 24, hardly 4 questions bandide. So you never know when the weightage of modern history could increase and when ancient medieval could decrease, or when the weightage of ancient medieval could increase and modern could decrease. So alternatively it could happen. So modern history hengiru na odirtivi. So a decent amount we'll have to put on ancient and medieval also. So in this video, in the beginning, first I'd like to discuss what are the sources which we usually study for ancient and medieval. See, art and culture in the dances, music and so many things are there. But usually UPSC is not focusing on these areas. But once in a while it will focus based on some news picked from art and culture current affair. For instance, 2024 ಅಲ್ಲಿ which of the following has been added for intangible cultural heritage anta kelidru. The answer to that was Garba. Illi art and culture current relevance na test madidare. They did not ask you static things. I myself have made notes from the past 3-4 years and have been waiting for questions from art and culture, but that was not happened. Folk songs ಕೊಟ್ಟು match the following ಕೊಡೋದು, states ಕೊಡೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ಸ್ ನ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅನ್ನೋದು, ದಿಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ಅ ಓಲ್ಡರ್ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್. ಈಗ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್ ಇಂದ ಆ ತರ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ UPSC. ಸೊ ವೇರ್ ಇಸ್ UPSC ಫೋಕಸಿಂಗ್ ಮೋರ್? ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್. ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಇಂದ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೆಡಿವಲ್, ಥರ್ಡ್ ಇಸ್ ಆರ್ಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಕಲ್ಚರ್. ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಹಿಸ್ಟ್ರಿ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಕಂಪೇರ್ಡ್ ವಿತ್ ದಿಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಟರ್ನೇಟಿವ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೆಡಿವಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಾಡರ್ನ್ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇದ್ದಾಗ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಮೆಡಿವಲ್ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಕೀಪ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ ಚೇಂಜಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಮನ್ಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಡು ವಿ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಫಾರ್ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಮೆಡಿವಲ್? 11th standard Tamil Nadu book. This is a very famous book and newer edition has also come. Idin bitre, see this or your foundation notes. If you have done foundation and if you think it is enough, then you can go for this, or you can go for Tamil Nadu 11th standard book. Or if you are doing new NCERT tumba brief ah kottidare. So if you are doing new NCERT, please do some YouTube course where relevant content has been done. Or if someone has gone for old NCERT like R.S. Sharma and Satish Chandra, then you can do either of this. So either of this madi, this or this or this or this. So this is left to you. So another thing which I want to mention at the beginning itself, see, ancient ಮತ್ತೆ medieval ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬಾ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ scope of guesswork chances ಕಡಿಮೆ. Unlike polity or environment or economy where logic is applicable, ancient and medieval it is purely memory related topics. You know it, you do not know it. Some cases we can apply our brain and that will be discussing, but mostly it is a memory oriented topic. So best ಏನು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ancient medieval ಅಲ್ಲಿ, let us get a hang over a static book. ಏನು ಸೋರ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಓದ್ತಿದೀವಿ ಅದನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಓದ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಅದರಿಂದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ it is our responsibility not to do mistake in it. ಅದನ್ನ ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬೌನ್ಸರ್ಸ್ ಬಂದ್ರೆ do not worry, it will be bouncers to all of them except the optional students. So do not worry about it. But ancient and medieval is that one subject where even if you invest a lot of time, there is no guarantee of rewards because the topic is very dynamic and large. Terms itself, NCERT book alliro ella terms na ನೀವು ಬರೆದಿಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರು 200 terms na ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬಹುದು. ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಗಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಾ? 100 terms. Even if you remember 200 terms, UPSC will ask a question where there will be 3 terms and ask you to match the following. ಆ 3 term ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದೇ term ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರುತ್ತೆ, in 2 terms ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲದಿರೋದನ್ನೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಫಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೇ ಓದಿ the returns are not guaranteed. Instead the focus should be on another subjects. But basic questions ಕೇಳಿದಾಗ ancient and medieval ಇಂದ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, because if we do their mistake then our competitors will go a step ahead. So let us not do that. So due effort needs to be put to ancient and medieval. So we'll We'll start the discussion on the video. So along with the static content that we have, PYQs of at least last 6 years becomes important. So PYQ last 6 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಅದರದ್ದು ಟಾಪ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಾಟಮ್ ರಿಲೇಟೆಡ್ ಏರಿಯಾಸ್ ನಾವು ಓದ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಇದೆ, ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ ಇಸ್ ಅಸೋಸಿಯೇಟಿವ್ ಚಂದ್ರಗುಪ್ತ ಟು, ಈ ತರ ಬಂದ್ರೆ ಸೊ ಚಂದ್ರಗುಪ್ತ ಟು ಅಂಡರ್ ಹೂ ಎಲ್ಸ್ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್. ಸೊ ಕಾಳಿದಾಸ ಡಿಡ್ ಈ ಸರ್ವ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ಅಂಡರ್ ಒನ್ ರೂಲರ್ ಆರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ಈ ಸರ್ವ್ ಅನ್ ಎನಿ ಅದರ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ಡಮ್. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ನಾವು ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಲಿ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನಾವು ಕ್ಯಾಪ್ಚರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ಅಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಇಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ 2020 ಕೇಳಿದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅಥವಾ 21 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿದ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಅದೇ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ನ ಪಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ 22 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಫಾರ್ಮುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಆಸ್ ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಇಟ್, ಐ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಇಟ್. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿಗಿನ್ ದ ಡಿಸ್ಕಷನ್ ವಿತ್ ಅ ವಿಡಿಯೋ ವಿತ್ ರೆಫರೆನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಲಿಟರೇಚರ್ ಆಫ್ ಏನ್ಷಿಯಂಟ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. Panini associated with Pushyamitra, scholars of ancient India. Okay, sorry, with reference to scholars of ancient India, which of the following statements is correct? Panini associated with Pushyamitra, it's Pushyamitra Sunga. Amarsimha associated with Harshavardhana. Kalidasa associated with Chandragupta too. ಈ ತರ ನೋಡಿದಾಗ let us try to start answering from the thing which we know the most or which we know the best. ಯಾವ್ದು famous? Kalidasa, and we know Kalidasa did serve under Chandragupta too. So 9 gems idru, Navarasa anta karitidvi, in which Kalidasa was one of the person. So this is correct. So this is wrong. And 9 gems anta Chandragupta 2 under 9 gems iddaga at least 4 to 5 gems aru nam ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. So Kalidasa was one of the person. Who else? Amarasimha was another person. And Gupta period was from 2nd to 4th or 5th century. So Harshavardhana was 7th century. So Amarasimha having been served under Guptas, he cannot serve under Harshavardhana. So 2 is wrong. 2 is wrong. 2 is wrong. You got the answer to be 3. Even if you did not know about statement 1, you could have easily got the answer. So statement 1 ige answer alla tane. So it becomes important for the next year. So static part namige ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Panini, there is no proper record, but Panini is believed to be under 4th to 6th, 4th to 7th century BC. ಈ timeline ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ರು. He was a pre-Gupta Sanskritic grammarian. So Pushyamitra Sunga, they came to power after defeating Mauryas. So Panini was pre-Maurya and Pushyamitra Sunga was post-Maurya. Right? So Panini, Amarasimha, Kalidasa. So 9 gems: Kalidasa, Amarasimha, Brihadrata, Harisena. So these are 4 important persons. Along with that, there are 5 others. At least 4-5 naming ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇದ್ರೆ it will be helpful, because 9 gems ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿಲ್ಲ. Gupta is a important topic. 9 gems ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. 5 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟು which of the following are among the 9 gems under Gupta dynasty ಅಂತ ಕೂಡ ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. So we need to know. We'll see a small static part related to it. Panini famous work is ಅಷ್ಟಧ್ಯಾಯಿ. ಇದನ್ನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. And he has contributed to Sanskrit grammar. Even they call him as the founder of the language and the literature of Sanskrit. So Pushyamitra Sunga, Sungas, they served under Guptas earlier. Sorry, they served under Mauryas. So Mauryas, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಮೌರ್ಯ ರೂಲರ್ ಯಾರು? ಬೃಹತ್ರಥ. So ಬೃಹತ್ರಥ fall ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ Pushyamitra Sunga, he himself made Brihatratha fall, and Pushyamitra Sunga founded the Shunga dynasty. ಸೊ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಮೌರ್ಯಾಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸುಂಗಾಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ನಂದಾಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಗುಪ್ತಾಸ್ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಬೇಕು. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಮರಸಿಂಹ, ಹೂ ವಾಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ 9 gems, and his famous work is Amarakosha. Amarasimha, Amarakosha, simple thing. So Danyavantri, like I said, Amarasimha is 1, Harisena is 2nd, Kalidasa is 3rd, Varahamihira is 4th. Other than this, Danyavantri, Sanku, Vararuchi, Vetal Bhatta and Kahan Panaka. These are the other 5 gems. So idr ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ವಶನ್ ಬರ್ಬೋದು. So we need to make a note of it. We'll move to the next question. So with reference to the history of India, consider the following pairs: Aurang, Banyan, Mirasidar. Aurang, Banyan, Mirasidar. In case in the exam, if we did not listen to any of these terms, then this question was better meant to be left. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿಂದನೂ ಹಿಂಟೇ ಸಿಕ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ then this question was better meant to be left. But if you had hint of anything, then you could have gone for this question. For example, if you had studied Rohitwari system properly, then in Rohitwari system, the tenants who were cultivating the land, who were supposed to pay the revenue directly to the government, they were termed as Mirasidar. So they were designated revenue payer to the state. So this becomes correct. So ಇದು ರೈತವರಿ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಇಂದ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ 3 ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಯಿತು. ದಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಎ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್, ಔರಂಗ್ in charge of treasury of the state. If you look at the terms which are related to the treasury of the state, it doesn't include terms like Aurang, because Aurang is actually a place where the goods were stored. So ನೀವು ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನ ನೋಡಬೇಕು. ಈಗ ರೆವಿನ್ಯೂ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಅಮೀಲ್ಸ್ ಈ ತರ ಟರ್ಮಿನಾಲಜೀಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಇನ್ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ದೀಸ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ವರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬೀನ್ ಯೂಸ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಇದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೂ ಔರಂಗ್ ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಿತ್ತು ದಟ್ ಟ್ರೆಜರಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ನಾ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಂಗಿದ್ರೆ ಹಿಸ್ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಹಿಸ್ ನೇಮ್ ಡಸಂಟ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ವಿತ್ ದೀಸ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್. ಸೊ 1 ನ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಿತ್ತು. 1 ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ 2 ಮತ್ತೆ ಬಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿ ಮಧ್ಯ 50-50 we would have to do. Even without knowing anything, we could have easily eliminated A and D and done 50-50 between B and C. Bunyan is actually an Indian agent of East India Company. This is also correct. So the answer is B. ಏನು ಗೊತ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದ್ರೆ better meant to be left. But if you want to attempt this, then ಔರಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ನೀವು ಥಿಂಕ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದಿತ್ತು that this term does not fit in. ಸೊ ಬಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಸಿ ಮಧ್ಯ ಯು ಹ್ಯಾಡ್ ಟು ಟೇಕ್ ಅ ಚಾಯ್ಸ್, ಡೂ 50-50. ಇದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಈಸಿಯಾಗಿ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ ಪಾಸಿಬಲ್ ಇರಲಿಲ್ಲ ವಿದೌಟ್ ದ ನಾಲೆಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎನಿಥಿಂಗ್. ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದ ಸೊಲ್ಯೂಷನ್. ಸಿ ಔರಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೇರ್ ಹೌಸ್. ಟು ಬಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್, ಔರಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ಅ ವೇರ್ ಹೌಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಗೂಡ್ಸ್ ಆರ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ಡ್. ಸೊ ಬನಿಯನ್ is a merchant or an Indian agent who acted on behalf of East India Company. What they used to do? They used to act as brokers, interpreters, agents for the European merchants in India. So these were Indians only, right? So Mirasidar, this term was given under Rohitwari system. They were the sole proprietors of the land and they were responsible for directly paying revenue to the state. So now that these terms have been mentioned, you never know which term it will UPSC will pick and ask in 2026 or 27 or 28. You never know. ಸೊ ಈ ತರ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕು, ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ಒಂದು 6 years ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನೇನು ನ್ಯೂ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ UPSC ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ತರ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಏನ್ ಮಾಡುವ 26 ಅಥವಾ 27 ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ ಈ ತರ 3 ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ ಕುಡ್ ಬಿ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್. ಸೊ ಅವಾಗ ಅಟ್ ಲೀಸ್ಟ್ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನ ಎಲಿಮಿನೇಟ್ ಅಥವಾ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ರಾಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ವಿ ಕುಡ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಅಟೆಂಪ್ಟೆಡ್, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ವಿಲ್ ಮೂವ್ ಟು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. Another important topic, Buddhism, Jainism, which is very favorite of UPSC. So with reference to religious history of India, consider the following statements. So Stavira Vedans belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Lokottara Vedan sect is an offshoot of Mahasangamika sect of Buddhism, and defecation of Buddha by Mahasangamikas fostered Mahayana Buddhism. Now Mahasangamikas, they do belong to Mahayana Buddhism, makes sense, and they saw Buddha in divine form. So that is what is meant by defecation of Buddha. So the first thing that we can take correct is 3. Basic namige gottirutte Buddhism, Hinayana, Mahayana, Theravada and Vajrayana. So Mahayana Buddhism, it was more towards ornaments and it was more towards seeing Buddha as a divine entity. So defecation of Buddha, it falls under Mahayana Buddhism. So 3 has to be there. Look at second statement. Lokottara Vedan sect is an offshoot of Mahasangamika sect. This is also correct because they Lokottara Vedan is nothing but an offshoot of Mahasangamika sect because they also considered Buddha in a divine form. So 2, this also goes. Stavira Vedans belong to Mahayana Buddhism. Stavira Vedans actually belong to Theravada Buddhism, which is a continuation of Hinayana or derived from Hinayana. Hinayana in the Theravada Buddhism bantu, and Stavira Vedans belong to Theravada Buddhism. See, that's what, there are so many sects and it is very difficult to remember. So Buddhism bandaga at least we'll try to remember 10 sects. So each of them adon study ಮಾಡಿ and write it down in your notes and revise it a day before you go to the exam, because this is very evaporating from the mind. So the answer is 2 and 3. Stavira Vedans associated with Theravada school of Buddhism, which will emphasize on the original teachings. So original teachings ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾರ್ಯಾರು emphasize ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು? Hinayana and Theravada. So Lokotaravidan sect, like we said, it is indeed an offshoot of Mahasangamika sect of Buddhism. Mahasangamika sect believed in the deification of the Buddha and saw it in the divine nature. This being the explanation, let us move to question number 3. So again a timeline based question, and timeline is very important, be it modern history or ancient or medieval. So let us see. Rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoja. Okay. Establishment of Pallava power under Mahendravarman I. Establishment of Chola power under Parantaka. Pala dynasty founded by Gopala. Okay. Establishment of Pallava power. See, Pallava power, when was it? From second in the almost 9th century ವರೆಗೂ ಪಲ್ಲವ ಇತ್ತು. Mahendravarman, Narasimhavarman I and Narasimhavarman II. These they are very famous when it comes to Pallava. So Mahendravarman was around 5th 6th century, right? ಈ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Narasimhavarman I and II ಆಮೇಲೆ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. Pala dynasty, you might have heard of tripartite struggle which was between Rashtrakutas, Palas and Gurjara Pratiharas. So, and when was this? Rashtrakuta ಬರೋದು 8th 9th century. So 8th century time ಅಲ್ಲಿ Pala dynasty founded. Pala dynasty was founded by Gopala. When was this? This was in 8th century. Rise of Pratiharas, and another thing is establishment of Chola power. The Chola that they are talking here is Imperial Chola, not that Chera Chola Pandyas. They are talking of Imperial Cholas which rose from almost 9th 10th century time ಅಲ್ಲಿ start ಆಗದು ಇವರು. Establishment of Chola power by Parantaka. This happens in 10th century. ಅಥವಾ Imperial Chola itself starts from 10th century. So you know that 2 will always come before 3 or 2 will come before 4. So 2 is the beginning point. This we need to be clear, because Gurjara Pratiharas will also come after the fall of Harshavardhana. So 2 first ಇರಬೇಕು. D ಹೋಯ್ತು, B ಹೋಯ್ತು, 2 is first, 3 is second, ಅವರೇ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. So whether 1 is first or 4 is first ನೋಡಬೇಕು, 1 ಮತ್ತೆ 4 ಮಧ್ಯ. So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, UPSC has given you a very subtle hint. If your mind is active, you can find. Like I said, there was tripartite struggle between whom 3 people were fighting. Gurjara Pratihara on one side, Rashtrakuta and Pala. So Pala ಮತ್ತೆ Pratihara almost same timeline ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇತ್ತು. Look, ಪಾಳದಲ್ಲಿ ಫೌಂಡರ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ Pratiharas ಅಲ್ಲಿ ರೈಸ್ ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ರೈಸ್ ಆಫ್ Pratiharas ಅಂಡರ್ ಕಿಂಗ್ ಭೋಜಾ, ನಾಟ್ ದಟ್ Pratiharas founded by so and so person. So the rise under Bhoja could have happened on a later time also, but Pala founder kottidar. So the founder comes first, and the rise of Pratiharas under King Bhoja comes second. That means 4 has to come before 1. So 2 4 1 3. Founder anna name avare kottidar. Ee hint na use madidru kuda 4 should come before 1 annadu you could have easily understood. Timelines are very important. Now another thing I'll be telling and relating to the subsequent questions. Just see what happens. Pallava dynasty, like I said, 3rd century, 9th century. So Tondai Mandalam, important rulers, Mahendravarman 6th century time alli active idru. That's correct. Gopala founded Pallava dynasty in 8th century. Who was the founder of Gurjara Pratihara? Nagabhatta I. Now remember this thing, because ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಕ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಈಗ ಗುರ್ಜರ ಪ್ರತಿಹಾರನ ಮ್ಯಾಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಫಾಲೋಯಿಂಗ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮೆನ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾರೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ, ವಾಟ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಟೈಮ್ ಲೈನ್, ವೇರ್ ಡಿಡ್ ದೇ ರೂಲ್, ಹೂ ವಾಸ್ ದ ಫೌಂಡರ್, ಈ ತರ 4-5 ಬೇಸಿಕ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟು ನೋ. ಸೊ ನಾಗಭಟ್ಟ 1 ಫೌಂಡೆಡ್ ಗುರ್ಜರ ಪ್ರತಿಹಾರ ವೆನ್ in 1730. So which started first? Gurjara Pratihara 1730, whereas Pala dynasty 1750. So Gurjara Pratihara started before Pala, but the rise of Bhoja happened later. Parantaka 1, Chola dynasty, which is 10th century. So we'll move to the next question. Which of the following phrases defines the nature of hundi? ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರಿಗಂತೂ ಇದು ತುಂಬಾ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಹುಂಡಿ, where do we refer to this? Temples, to put in money and so on. Generally refer to the sources of post Harsha period. So hundi, is it an advisory? Is it a dairy? Is it a bill of exchange? Nothing but a monetary entity? Is it a monetary entity? Or is it an order? For someone who is North Indian, I can understand he might not know about hundi. At least namigaru ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. Hundi is a financial term. ಇಷ್ಟು ನಮಗೆ ಮೈಂಡಿಗೆ ಹಿಟ್ಟಾರು, we could have gone for bill of exchange. Economy, if you study, there also will come across, when you're studying the shares and such sort of things, you'll come across bill of exchange, which was called hundi at that point of time. So hundi was been used as remittance, was been used to credit, and was been used to promote trade. And hundi, this term was been used in medieval time, not ancient. With reference to history of India, the terms Kulyavapa and Dronavapa. See, this is what I was telling. There are so many terms. So please make a list of the important terms. Yella terms are ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ possible ಇಲ್ಲ. Important terms ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನು? Important terms are those terms which are mentioned in your NCERTs. Important terms are those which are in your PYQs. NCERTs ಮತ್ತೆ PYQs ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು terms ಇದೆ ಇದನ್ನ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋಕೆ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಪಡಿ, rather than going for some institute or test series or some another standard source, right? Because if UPSC has to pick a question, it might pick from PYQ or NCERT rather than some institute paper. So Kulyavapa and Dronavapa, these were terms which were used to denote measurement of land. Usually monetary terms, coins is one important area where UPSC has frequently asked question, but in this it is the measurement of land. So just like Kulyavapa and Dronavapa, there were other terms also used. We'll just try to remember those. Nivartana was another term which was been used. Kulyavapa, Dronavapa, these terms were used in eastern part of the country like Bengal. Angula, Hasta, Adavapa, Danda, Nala, all these are terms. So there's no point in remembering each of this, but idr related terms gottidre better. So this was about it. Let us look at the second question. We'll look at the next question. Who among the following rulers advised his subjects through his inscription? Whosoever praises his religious sect or blames other sects out of excessive devotion to his own sect with the view of glorifying his own sect, he rather injures his own sect very severely. So it is talking about some person who is in favor of religious freedom, who is favoring all the religions, not just his religion. So if you look at the personalities, Ashoka, Samudragupta, Harshavardhana, Krishnadevaraya, all of these have positive personalities. All these support multi-religion existing. So it becomes very difficult to answer this unless and until you do not know. For example, in this question, if there's Alauddin Khilji or if there was Aurangzeb, you could have said that they did not like religious freedom enjoyed by other religion. So they wanted only their religion to flourish. But here that is not the case. There is religious tolerance in each of their rule. The answer to this is Ashoka. This is also another thing. I think this had been picked from the NCERT from one of the paragraphs that was been present. Another thing, NCERT we will come across so many places which had a different name earlier. So ಆ ತರ ಟರ್ಮ್ಸ್ ಬಂದಾಗ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಡೇ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಒಂದು ಬ್ರಾಡ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡಿಂಗ್ ನಮಗೆ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್, ಲೆಟ್ ಅಸ್ ಲುಕ್ ಎಟ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆಪ್ಷನ್ಸ್. ಪ್ಲೇಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಟು ಸ್ಟೇಟ್. ಬೀಲ್ಸಾ, ದ್ವಾರಸಮುದ್ರ, ಗಿರಿನಗರ್, ಸ್ತನೇಶ್ವರ. ದ್ವಾರಸಮುದ್ರ, ಹೊಯ್ಸಳಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ್ವಾರಸಮುದ್ರ, ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಇನ್ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ರಾಂಗ್. ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಥಿಂಗ್, ನಿಮಗೆ ಯಾವ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತು ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಗಿರಿನಗರ್, ಗಿರ್ is of Gujarat. This is correct. Bilsa and Staneshwara. Staneshwara is in Haryana. So this becomes wrong. And Bilsa. So having eliminated, first what is that we know? We know 2 is wrong. When 2 is wrong, 1 is correct. So either it is 3 or 4. And you know 3 is correct. So the answer is 1 and 3. Bilsa is indeed in Madhya Pradesh. So these are older names of the places that we know. So idina present state jote match the following just to see your awareness ಕೇಳಬಹುದು. Now that we have discussed about this, you should not forget this. Bilsa ellide, Dwara Samudra ellide, Girinagar ellide, Saneshwar ellide, it by heart irbeku, because you never know when UPSC could again pick one of these elements and formulate another question. We'll move to next question. With reference to period of Gupta dynasty in ancient India, the towns Gantashala, Kadura and Chaul were known for dash. See, Gantashala and Chaul. Chaul, at least you should have heard that Chaul is a very famous port. They are not capitals. See, capitals antu now odirtivi and we have not come across it during ancient India, during Gupta dynasty at least. Places of exquisite stone art and architecture, important Buddhist pilgrimage sites. If you are studied well Buddhist pilgrimage sites, you know that this is not one of them. And if you know the capitals during Gupta dynasty, then this is also not one of them. The confusion, if it exists, should have been between A and C. And the answer to this is A. So, which are the other places? So, like I said, there are certain areas from which UPSC could ask more questions. One is coins, another one is ports. Now, let us see which are the other ports that are there. Chaul, where was it? It is on the western coast. And Kadura and Gantashala, it is in the eastern coast near Andhra region. Kaveri Patnam, Puhar and Tondi, this is of Pandyan region, again which will come on the east. Mamallapuram, Arikamedu, Baroch, Lothal, Muziris, Pumpuhar. So Muziris one gottirbeku, Arikimedu, Mamallapuram we would have come across when we studied. Puhar, this is another thing which we need to know, that these are ports, because once adi kelide andre 3-4 years avale matte kelo chances irutte. With reference to cultural history of India, which one of the following is correct description of the term paramitas? If you have studied Buddhism, this is a simple question. Paramitas is something related to Buddhism. Earliest Dharmashastra text, philosophical school, 6 philosophical schools you yourself know. Yoga, Ayurveda and so on. 6 philosophical schools gottide, and this is not the answer. Perfections whose attainment led to Bodhisattva path. So that's what Paramitas annadu ನೀವು Buddhism chapter ಓದಿದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದ್ರು. The only one option which is related to Buddhism is answer C. Powerful merchant guilds, no. So ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರೋ you could use it. So what are these paramitas? See, these paramitas are perfections which a bodhisattva is supposed to attain. Bodhisattva concept emerged under Mahayana Buddhism. So what is that? So paramitas are perfections or virtues that the bodhisattva must cultivate. And why should he cultivate it? He should cultivate it to achieve enlightenment. So what does it involve? Which are the 6 paramitas? Generosity, morality, patience, diligence, meditation, wisdom. UPSC will not mean, there are very less chances that it will ask which of the following are the paramitas to be followed under Buddhism, because the chances are all are positive things only. So if you give negative, they know that you will easily eliminate. So chances kadme adre, these are the paramitas which a bodhisattva is supposed to cultivate. And why should he cultivate? To achieve enlightenment. Let us look at the next question. Shramana, Upasaka, Parivajrika. Again, Upasaka is a term which we study in Buddhism. Upasaka is a follower of Buddhism. This is correct. Shramana. Shramana is priest. It is not a priest. Shramana, these were wanderers who had renunciated everything. So Shramana, it could be related to Buddhism, Jainism or any other sect also. But these are people who have been wanderers and have renunciated what they had. So these are monks and not a priest. Let us look at the options. Having known Upasaka comes under Buddhism, 3 has to be there. And having known that 2 is wrong, if you know 2 is wrong, you directly get the answer to be B. And like I said, ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಶ್ರಮಣ ನೋಡಿ, renunciant and wanderer. Usually ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, when you look at these options, see all of these 3. Usually ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಒಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ಚೇಂಜ್ ಮಾಡಿರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಒಂದರ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. This is commonly been seen. Parivajraka, renunciants and wanderers. Shramana also referring to similar thing with a slight difference to which we will not go too deep. Shramana also means ascetics and renouncers, whether be it Buddhism, Jainism or Ajivika sect. Upasaka is a follower of Buddhism who will adhere to the teachings of Buddha, though will not take all the monastic vows. So basic idea, Iga, now that we have discussed these terms like Upasaka, now you should remember this. Shramana means monk, Upasaka means follower of Buddhism. E terms na ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇರಬೇಕು because you never know when again it could be asked. So this was all about the discussion of ancient, medieval and art and culture for the year 2020. I hope you liked the video. Thank you for watching.